I'm always Cynthia here, and this is going to be a long Q&A, right? Yeah, because it's got quite a lot of questions, and that with pretty big answers. And also, there's probably a chance that the thing's going to cut. Then I'm going to have to put the recording onto my computer, delete off the phone, and then record the rest of it. So this is going to be long. So let's get into it. PEScharlie asks, are you more hyped for Tekken 7 or Street Fighter 5? I know that, like me, you're more Tekken fan, but Street Fighter, you're more Tekken than Street Fighter, but Capcom are doing a much better job of hyping their game better than Bandai Namco are. Still more hyped for Tekken because it's my favourite fighter, though. You know what? You are right. Capcom is hyping up Street Fighter 5 more, but that's because Street Fighter 5 is coming out earlier, you know? Then again, I think Bandai Namco's never really been good with the promoting. I've always just been a Tekken fan that they don't have to promote. I'm going to buy it anyway. So it's kind of like that. So yeah, I'm always going to be hyped for Tekken 5, Tekken 7, and Street Fighter 5. I ain't going to lie, there's a few things on there that I'm pretty hyped to see. You know, we've got Mika back. We've got some random new characters. The one thing, obviously, everybody knows I'm a fan of Adon. So, it's like... So, I won't be able to play the game. And from what I'm seeing, it doesn't even look like Sagat's going to be in this game either. So, it's kind of like, rah, who am I going to use? I did used to use Mika at one point. Maybe if I do get Street Fighter 5, that's probably what I'm going to have to do. We'll soon see what happens with that one anyway. And second question. Have you ever played Persona? I got into it recently and I'm addicted. It's an awesome JRPG series which has been around for a while, and it's a spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei series. I've never played it, never heard of it. Never even heard of JRPG. You know, I've never really been to RPGs. I know about MMORPGs, and I think there's another RPG that I forgot about, but I've never heard of JRPG. What's that like? So I've definitely ain't heard of that one. And NZ Knight asks, do you like any games made by SNK Playmore? If so, what are your favourite ones? I'm not usually too much of a fan of it. Obviously, the only games I know about is Capcom versus SNK and King of Fighters. I don't know if that's the only games they do, if they do other games as well. I'm pretty sure they might do others. But King of Fighters was a game I didn't mind. It was a good game. Not something I would play all the time, but it's something I didn't mind. Capcom versus SNK was a good game as well. So those are the only ones I know, really. Now, Spice the Clown. Okay, a few questions on the top of my head, even though he only asked us 2 questions. What are your views on the welfare cuts of the Conservative Party? What are your views on the welfare cuts the Conservative Party has put in place? Excuse me for my stuttering. Maybe I'm trying to rush this too much. Well, I'm not too much into politics. I'm not usually too much into talking about politics. You know, the only thing I know the only thing I know really, I just know enough to say that Labour is doing a good job for people like me. That's all I know really. So, but welfare cuts, any welfare cut is going to be bad, really. Any welfare cut that's put in place is always going to be bad, you know what I'm saying, really. So, I can't really go off on the Conservative Party alone, you know. But Conservative Party, they'll do almost anything they can to do bad to poor people and bad to people in my position. So... so there's not really too much I can say about them, to be honest. The second question is, what are your views on Jeremy Corbyn? Random, I know, but hey, why not? Peace. You know, well, Jeremy Corbyn's doing a very good job right now. Very perfect job. It's kind of annoying how they want to make him look like he's this bad guy and everything and all that. And they make lies about him, make lies that he said this and he said that, but no proof that shows that he said that and all that. So it's very, very annoying. But everything I do know about him so far, you know, a lot of people consider him to be a hero, and I understand why. So, like I said, I'm not too knowledgeable when it comes to politics. It's not really my topic, you know. But I definitely know enough to say that Labour is definitely, obviously, what I can follow, and Jeremy Corbyn's doing a good job as the leader, in my opinion. Ceee Max says here, what keeps you motivated? I feel I'm not in the right position to answer this question because I've been lacking motivation for a damn long time. You know, the one thing that has been keeping me motivated in time, but I shouldn't rely on that, is when an opportunity comes up saying, yeah, oh yeah, you want to make music for this game? That's when I get motivated to turn my computer on and to go ahead and watch tutorials every moment to make myself a better musician. It wasn't like that years ago, but it's kind of turned like that now, so it technically means I definitely have lost motivation. Because if I need that sort of opportunity to keep myself motivated, then obviously I'm not motivated. So, and I have been very unmotivated. I had a goal, I had a goal this year, which I'm failing very badly. And, you know, back in the olden days, what used to motivate me isn't working now. What would motivate me was playing games. You know, playing games to hear music from those games and keep that game mentality in you. That was one thing that motivated me. Now, when I'm doing animation, what usually motivates me is watching a lot of cartoons and animation. Yeah, it's kind of close, could be sort of close to what I'm trying to do, and keep watching them and sort of get ideas from that. But that hasn't been working either, to be honest. So I'm kind of not that very motivated there either. It's kind of tough, really. Yeah, so I can't really answer that question. I'm not in the mood. When I'm proper back to motivated and really found myself something that's really proper motivated me, then I feel I can answer that question. But at the moment now, I'm sorry. I've really been unmotivated this year. RetroUnlim asks, what was your most cherished childhood memory of video games and consoles? Well, I remember speaking about some childhood memories already back in an old video, you know, so I guess I'd have to sort of have to remind everybody, or like people who've got new ones, so new subscribers, I have to maybe say it again. But I'm trying to think of some other good memories that I had as a child. I mean, I wasn't that young. I was still just I was definitely a teenager, probably just about turning into adult when this thing happened. But I think one of my best memories, really, was when I used to play Street Fighter Alpha 3 with my friend who was good at the game. I used to use Ryu at the time, and I more or less used Ryu because it was a standard play. Everyone used Ryu, and he used to beat me easily. He beat me all the time, and then one day I saw him playing online against someone else, and I saw him using these combos that I've never seen him do before. I'm like, I've realised how good of a player he really is. I thought, that is weird. How come he doesn't face me like that? You know why? Because he didn't need to. I was that shit at the game. Then I started to change my characters up. And later on I found using Adon, I actually preferred doing it, using him, and I was starting to beat him back. I was starting to beat him back and everything and all that. Now he's beating me again, and now he's using those combos. Now he's taking me seriously, you know, and that's a great memory for me, yeah, because that is what made me realise you can't just use what every standard character is and everything that. Always use someone who attacks differently from different things. And this is one of the reasons why when you see me play certain games, you always will see me bang out characters like in Smash Brothers I use Yoshi, in Soul Calibur I use Voldo. You know, I always will use random characters like those because they will have moves that no one else uses. If you pick a character that no one else refuses to pick, then they're not going to know how you're going to attack, and that gives you an advantage. And that defines my character. That doesn't even define just how I play games. That defines my character. Unique is always what will just get you something different. and that's why it's a childhood memory to me, because it's always perfect. So yeah, that's that, and I think I said that on the old video as well anyway. Andy Sullivan, hello, how are you? So what are some of your favourite hip-hop rap artists, and why is that? I like Bone Thugs and Harmony. They're just so fast and fluid. They just have such a great style. One of their my famous songs here was Thuggish Ruggish Bone. I love that song. That song was always a legend for me back in my day. You know, and they've also got other good brilliant hits as well. So yeah, I think when it comes to hip hop artists, I think it's them. I can think of some others, but then they're just always one that crosses my mind first, innit? You ever thought about doing your own podcast someday, or no? Thanks. Podcast is not really something I think about, because I don't really know what I'm going to talk about, to be honest. I think podcasts usually have to be done sort of all the time, like maybe once a month, once a week. I won't always have good topics to talk about. And like I said already, there's been a lack of motivation recently that I know I'll never stick to scheduled time. Well, not scheduled time, but like keeping up with what's going on and everything like that. And when it comes to games, I think loads of people have a bit more knowledge than me. When it comes to MMA, as much knowledge I have, I think still have people with great more knowledge than me. Podcast is not really something that I have an itch to do, if you know what I'm saying. So let's move on to the next one, and that's Martino007. What's up, man? How's it going? Did you ever thought about working as a bartender? Not really into it. Why is that? Well, I'm not really into working as a bartender. I'm always into doing, just create something creative. You know, I don't really like bars, full stop, to be honest. I'm not really comfortable around drunk people. Not to say that every bar, everyone gets drunk. You know, but you can be a bartender at a pub, and most people in pubs get drunk, and I'm definitely not comfortable around them people. But I always like to try and work as something that's, in my opinion, creative, something where you're doing something completely different. Like if I'm doing music for a company, or if I'm doing posters for a company, or if I'm doing animation for someone, it always will be different work there all the time. So that's kind of the work I like to do. Bartender is not really my cup of tea. So have you ever thought about doing your own podcast show someday, or no? And why? I think that would be great. Thanks, and have a nice day. Bit of a coincidence that you've asked the same question that Andy Sullivan has. So, well, you've already heard the answer to the question, Andy Sullivan. So, so yeah, that's all I can really say. And Kadesman here asks, if you were in an interracial relationship with a girl and the two of you were getting it on, if she said things like, "Yeah, fuck me, you dirty nigger," or "Fuck me with that big nigger dick," would you find that offensive, or would that turn you on? Sorry for the somewhat explicit and racist question, but I had this on my mind for a while and I really had to ask. Well, it wouldn't offend me, yeah, probably because, if I know her well enough to be getting it on with her, it must be, I would only want to get on with somebody who I would really have a good long relationship with, So now, I think of my close friends. We argue, not argue. We cuss each other all the time. Yeah, they call me that N-word. I cuss them for their colour. We do it as a joke. We say things to each other that we would never say to a stranger. So for them to say it to me all the time, and I don't mind, it shouldn't really mind if someone who I'm getting it on with, because the person I'd be getting on with would be somebody I'd know very much more closer than a friend. So think of it that sense. So it wouldn't offend me, but I would enjoy it. I'd be turned on if I'm having it. I'll be turned on regardless if they're saying that or not. So that is a random question. And second question here: given that you have three, okay, someone's off. Someone was messaging me on Facebook. I'll get back to him later. Given that you have 3,893 subscribers, why do most of your videos have few views compared to the amount of subscribers you have? There's many reasons. I know that one of the reasons is that YouTube doesn't always send everybody a fight on their subscription feed when I upload a video. And I know that for a fact because there's been times when I'll say, oh, my next video is going to be this song, or it's going to be this video. And then later on, I'll upload that video. And then months after, people go, hey, Tim, didn't you say you was going to do a video or you was going to upload a song about blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, I've done it already. And then they look at my channel and they go, oh, my days, I didn't see this when it was there. So that happens. That's one reason. Second reason is there are people who, they're subscribed to me, but they're subscribed to like another 1,000 channels. Like, how in the world are they going to keep up with all of that? Their subscription feed must have 50 new videos daily. How are they gonna watch all that? Jesus. I'm subscribed to a lot of channels, but I wouldn't subscribe to that many. That just shows that you got times where somebody will just watch one video, like that one video, and then subscribe to you just for that whole one video. Which I guess that's a good thing, but then it's a bad thing as well if you're gonna just keep subscribing to everyone. So that's another thing. Another thing, I guess I have to. This is something obviously I have to accept, really, and I believe it's probably mostly this case, right? Yeah, it's the fact that loads of people will subscribe to me during 2007, 2008, 2009, 10, 11. Most of you guys, when you subscribed then, you were kids. Most of them were kids. They were not kids, but like youngsters, teenagers, and they like watching videos like this. But now they're adults. They've grown up. They've got loads of things to do. They're busy. They're all busy. You know, I'm busy. That's why I don't come out with constant videos like I used to. And I have to agree they're busy as well. So they don't watch YouTube all the time. Even my own friends and cousins don't even watch my videos as much as they used to. Fair enough, whatever I talk to about, I may talk to them in person, but they used to watch my videos as well, but not now. So yeah, that is one. So that I think that's probably the main reason. That's the only reason I can think of right now. But the others are definitely a factor. Insanity54 asks, what places would you like to see and what things would you do when you visit Japan? Well, the first thing I've got to say is I'd like to eat the black burger. Have you seen it? And the red burger. I can't believe they've done this. It actually is a black burger. Like it's like a black bun, black cheese. Okay, and the burger's normal colour, but everything else is all normal colour. But it's the fact that it's a black bun, I don't know what they'd use, black colouring and stuff like that. And they've done a thing with a red burger as well. Red bun and all that. I can't wait for the green burger. I bet they're going to invent a green burger. So and I thought that's one good thing. I still want to go to that place, Round 1, which I think it's called Round 1, which just has such a beautiful place to do, a beautiful leisure that you can hire out yourself for a while, do a lot of gaming and little sporty stuff and all that. Just beautiful things like that. You know, I'd love to visit Tokyo and see all the beautiful lights and everything, all the futuristic stuff. I just want to see the new age technology, all the things that we have here in this country. When we got them, it was all like, rah, beautiful, this looks so brilliant. And Japan had those things like 20 years ago. It's like, I want to see the new technology. I want to experience what will be brilliant there. That's what I can say to that one, really. I can go on forever, to be honest. And Stephen Jamieson says, the Combat Pack 2 for Mortal Kombat X is being released in early 2016. It will feature 4 more characters, some new stages, and even more costumes. I love that NetherRealm are still supporting the long game after release. What games do you believe deserve more support after their release? I could say that Burnout Paradise could be more deserved, but then that's just me being greedy because they've done a fuckload of things after their release. I ain't too sure. I'm not too sure. What games? What games? Right. What games? I was going to say Real Steel, which is a PSN game, because the Real Steel on the mobile phone has more stages than the one on the PlayStation. That's embarrassing. And it's got more characters as well. The fighting actually, I wouldn't say the fighting's better, but it's got a good fight system. But the fact that it just has more stuff, more content, is just a bit shocking. So that's a game that deserves more, I gotta say. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I could say have more content in it. And he also said here, PS, they also announced there won't be a beta condition because they were going to release loads of DLCs in the future. Also, hope my mum had a good birthday. Thank you. He said he posted that question more or less on my mum's birthday. So, the Rap Metal Hero. What's up, man? How are you? Greetings from Sweden. You're not from Sweden. So, what is your least favourite video game character? I haven't got a least favourite video game character. Wait, what the fuck's going on there? Is that a dead bird in my gutter? Yeah. Disgusting. There's a fucking dead bird in my gutter. And I can't get to it as well. What is my least favourite character? You know, there's never really been... There's been characters that maybe I dislike, probably because I dislike the way from using the characters, but there's never been a character that... that I would hate. I actually don't really have a least favourite, to be honest. Maybe I could sort of round up a least favourite version of a character, because if the character was probably based on that, maybe I would have hated that character. And all I can think of is Reptile, the Mortal Kombat 4 version of Reptile. I think they didn't bring him into an Anthro perfectly. I think they did it in a weird way, and it just didn't work right. I didn't like it, to be honest. Funnily enough, though, I did like the finisher, and I wish they gave that finisher to the new Reptile right now. That'd have been wicked. So I can't really... That's all I can think of, really. So who are some of your favourite video game characters and why? Well, you've already seen my top 10 fighting game character video, where I more or less put my top 10 characters. There's still loads of other characters I may like Yoshi, John Talbane, and, you know, yeah, I haven't really got that many favourite characters. There's also Voldo and what's his name? Aeon, also known as Lizard Man from Soul Calibur. Yeah, there's not that many characters I'm into really when it comes to besides ones I've said in my video and all that. And Mr. Heavy Metal Hero Dude. Hi there, how's it going? I'm from Canada. No, you're not. So, have you ever played a game called Sleeping Dogs before or heard of it? I've heard of it. It's a great game. I haven't played it yet. It is a brilliant game, though. I like what it does. I like how it plays and everything, and I think it's a pretty enjoyable game. And yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested in getting it. I never ever got it, but it does look like a brilliant game. I was watching videos on it. It just looks really, really great. And what are some of your favourite racing games? Wipeout, Mario Kart, and I'm a little bit into F-Zero as well. F-Zero is a brilliant game. I think I'm probably going to be into Power Drive 2000, and not just because my music would be in that game. It's because of the fact that I do like the graphics style of that game. It looks like, it reminds me of those old school 80s little toys we used to play, and it's like, he's doing a games console version of that. So that's kind of something I like as well. I did like Burnout Paradise, but then that's not really a racing game. It's got race modes, but it's not quite a racing game, is it? So I won't put that one on there. And Teddy Picker 5057 says, when comparing Japan to England, what things do you think are a lot better over there when compared to here, vice versa? Well, like I said already, with Insanity 54's question, with Japan, what's better compared with Japan to England? Obviously, the fact that technology is just more evolved over there. So that's something that's something right there. What things are better there with England to Japan? I think the transport in England is a bit better, because I've seen how the transport is like in Japan. You could be like finishing work, go to the train station, go on the platform. Every train that comes is so full up that you won't even be able to push yourself on. Some guys have to push themselves to get on, right? And you could probably even get a train for 5 hours, 4 hours, maybe even bloody 7 hours, and then the last train comes, you still can't get on that train, and then boom, you're now stuck in the city you're stuck in. Then you have to stay at a hotel, and the hotels in there are smaller than my bloody couch. It's like a capsule. I'm like, that's your hotel? What a way to ruin your night. I think I'd hate to be in those little situations. Those are sort of the negative things of Japan. I don't think that would happen all the time, but that will happen at least some point in your life. That's where, once again, the advantages, disadvantages of working at home, just like my last video, what I was saying in my last video, because that is kind of damn. So that's definitely the bad thing about Japan. I think I could think of some more things right now, but this is such a long video already. I want to keep this kind of going. So, would you prefer if Tekken went back to having stages for certain characters, like in Tekken 2? I think it was great when you'd fight and the stage music fit the fighter. Personally, I don't think they will, again, aside from special characters like bosses like Azazel and Jin. You know what? I do want them to go back to having stages named on the characters, you know. Do you know what I want? I want both stages that's just for anyone and stages also named for the characters as well. Because in Tekken 2, 3 and Tag Tournament 1, it was brilliant when all the characters had their own stages and all that. But then when Tekken 4 was the first one that made it like just stages out of anywhere. I understand why they did that. You have an airport stage. What character could that have represented? You have the jungle stage, that could have probably been Yoshimitsu stuff. But then you had a mall, like a random shopping mall. Who would that have been on? You know, there are some stages that you probably couldn't put together with a character, and that's why there hasn't been a wrestling ring for a while, because they don't do it. Because obviously King was always the one who had a wrestling ring in Tekken 3 and Tag. He had a wrestling ring. There is a wrestling ring in the story mode of Tekken 6. Was it 6? Yeah, it was Tekken. No, was it Tekken Tag? Oh, it was Tekken. Yeah, it was Tekken Tag. Sorry, they did have it in the story mode. So I do believe. That they need to just do both. I prefer it if it was named after. I just want them to do both. That's one thing I wish they did. I know they probably will never do it, but I wish they did that. And JoeyRealgamer says, what do you think entertainment will be like in 2020? Movies and games. Movies, I think, will probably be crap. I think movies will... I've noticed movies have gone this direction where they're just trying to make films as logical and realistic as possible, which, to me, it's a film. It's like as if fiction is not a part of things anymore. So it's kind of like they're missing out on creativity and imagination. So, and they seem to be going that direction all the time. And as we all know, it's just going to be remakes and remakes and remakes and remakes and remakes and just remakes and changing what the character looks like, changing it and fucking everything up. I don't know. I'm not looking forward to movies, to be honest. Games, well, we're probably going to have some next new ways to play games. I don't know. You know, I think games will be good. I know I'm probably going to have some really, there's probably going to be some real nice creative indie games. But I think the commercial games may be a little bit whatever. So that's all I can think of, really. I need some advice. I'm 23 years old and I feel like I'm not doing much with my life. I have a steady job at Odeon Cinema and I do what most people my age do. But I've never gone to uni, and this is my age. So this is the age where I need to be finding a career. I sometimes feel like the rat race is not for me, and I feel really lost at times. Have you got any advice for what you were like when you were 23 years old? Well, when I was 23 years old, I was more or less doing this. I was doing my YouTube, doing music, and music was going very well at the time, and I kept at it. You know, this is a short life, and you've got to try and enjoy yourself when you're doing it. But at the end of the day, you have a steady job at Odeon Cinema. I can easily say you're doing better than me at the moment. But it's quite hard to say because I'm not in that much of a position to say, hey, I can give you some real good advice. I'm not in that type of position. But at 23, I'd say keep looking at looking at hobbies as well, because your hobby can easily turn into a job. It can happen. We've seen it happen many a times. You know, if you've got anything that you feel you're good at, you're talented at, keep learning at it and make sure you persevere at it. You know, and do your best not to give up. You know, that's the best I can say at the moment. And here's some questions here from D-Wall 200. Why do you always talk about suicide so much? Don't have to answer if you don't want to. So he's basically referring here to a few comments here that I've put on some of his videos and everything like that. Well, let's just put it this way, right? Yeah, there is reasons why I do want to commit suicide. You bring them up all the time. You bring up those reasons all the time. Let's just put it that way. You know, I talked about it. I mean, think of it like this, yeah? Let's imagine there's a smell you hate, a certain food that you don't like the smell of that food. You'll know that every time someone talks about that food, you're going to talk about how, yeah, it smells. You're always going to talk about it. You're always going to bring up how you feel that food smells. If someone talks about, you know, now I've given loads of reasons in past videos already of why I usually have suicide thoughts. I've given reasons already. If someone brings up, you know, there was a time when you asked me a question, I said I didn't want to ask you that question here because that question was to do with some of those suicide thoughts. So that's kind of why I more or less said that, you know. So that was that was basically it, really. There's suicide thoughts, and you do get, coincidentally, you always seem to bring up something, yeah, that's related to those thoughts, unfortunately. So that's more or less what I can say on that situation. The second question from the Wall 200 is, what is your honest about my Stormsing videos? So that's like, what is I suppose you're assuming what is your honest opinion about Stormsing videos. If I have to be totally honest, I think they're pointless. I think they're really pointless. I really think, yeah, it's really no need, to be honest, because Robert does not watch any of the videos. You know, he can't be bothered with guys like you. You know, the thing I personally believe is, I know that you like to prove out his problems and times when he could make a mistake in a video, you want to always point them out and everything and all that. Yeah, I just personally would think that any normal person would just say, oh well, he's saying all that shit, and just leave it and just let him say the crap he's saying and all that. Yeah, but you've taken it yourself that you've made it almost like your life, that you have to make a video every time he slips up. It's like you've taken like you have to do this video. That I think to myself, it's pointless. Now, you had a video, yeah, which was called "It's for Entertainment." I think that video was the most pointless one out of them all, and also out of order, because he was doing the video where he was talking about the diets that he was starting, and talking about that he almost died with because of the weight issue and all that. You know, it was a very serious top video that he was talking about and everything like that, but you just went ahead and concentrated on the first minute of the video where he says all the things he does for entertainment. You literally just made your whole video based on that and ignore all the other things he said in that video. That I thought was kind of out of order, dude. You know, that's just me being honest, really. I think that all these videos you're doing just don't need to. And in your latest video, to me, you sounded angry. You actually sounded angry. I didn't even think that was you on the video. You know, it seems to your eyes or whatever, it seems Robert can't do anything right. You know, you're a very hard person to impress, man. That's all I can think of. That's all I can say at this point, really. And Venom 3421 asks, what is your most anticipated game that's coming out? By a clear mile, Mother Russia Bleeds. I think that game is going to be ultra fantastic. You know, I'm also waiting a little bit for of course Tekken 7. You know, hyped for the Resident Evil 2 remake, which we've been waiting for how long. And all that. But Mother Russia Bleeds looks like it's going to be something really spectacular. It looks like a game that I know that I'm going to keep on playing until I've clocked it, and then probably still have replay value, probably keep on playing it. I can see that game going to be a very enjoyable game, and I really, really can't wait for it. It's the game that, you know, that's definitely it, man. Definitely that game. Out of all of the new characters they've announced in Tekken 7 so far, which is your favourite and why? I think it's that, I forgot that guy's name. Was it Gigolo or something? Like Gigs or something? I can't even. Oh, great. That sort of robot character, a really, really big robot character. You know, he looks like he has all great moves and everything and all that. There was something that was said that guy was supposed to be Marduk. I'm not too sure if that's the case, but it does look like Marduk's not even in the game. If he is, then I'm wrong. But you know, sometimes I don't. When it comes to fighting games, I don't mind the big guy here and there and use him to crush the small guys here and there. You know, that's why I like Marduk. That's one of the reasons why I like Marduk. But then this guy, this big robot or whatever he is, looks like he could be interesting. So I'm gonna have to say this one. I don't know who the hell is ringing me. It looks like that looked like it was a automated number thing anyway, so I wasn't going to do that. Say that. I wouldn't say. Yeah. Yes, I already answered that question. Another character I would like to say would have been cool would have been Lucky Chloe, because I do like the design and what they're doing with that character. But I think that big robot guy, whatever he is definitely the biggest one. So that's the Q&A, guys. Yeah. So thanks for all the questions. Right. you know, and I have a video which I don't know when is it going to be coming out. It's a video about the Super NES, but I'm having a little trouble editing it because I have a weird problem with my Final Cut Pro. I tried to switch to the new Premiere, and that Premiere does not take videos recorded with this phone very well. So there's a big problem with the editing on that one. So that video's taking its time to come out, but that's the video we should be looking forward to, because when someone helps me gets that video up, then that's the video. It'll be about the Super NES. So that's it, guys. Yeah, thanks very much, and I'll speak to you all later. Love who you are.